Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy TouchTone Da SoundGawd, and I'm coming at you with this video today. And I decided to make this video because I would get hit up on my Instagram mainly about like videos to do and things of that nature, right? So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about mastering lo-fi. Now, my lo-fi master chain, let's just say, is a little bit different from what I do with like trap and pop and even some of the gospel records and stuff that I mix. I don't do as much, right? Because I don't feel it needs as much, right? So, yeah, we're going to get right into it. This is a lo-fi record. Now, I will say I'm going to be using some plugins that might not everyone has, but you can achieve this with almost any plugin, even stock plugins. Now, I am doing my mastering and PreSonus Studio One 4. I really like it. I use this for mixing. I use Ableton for making. I used to use Pro Tools, but man, Pro Tools just pisses me off a lot of the times because it works and then it doesn't. And then believe me, I have enough RAM and memory and it tells me I constantly does it. It's a love-hate relationship with Pro Tools, and I definitely hate them at this moment a lot. And they don't work with Console One well, and I use Console One to mix. So I've come over to Studio One, and this is a great DAW for mixing. Like, in my opinion, it's the best for mixing. I know Logic is pretty good too, and Ableton's decent. Ableton's really good for creating. So yeah, I'm going to get into this. This is a lo-fi. My chain is going to be different from everyone else's. It's all about taste at this point. Some people might have a different avenue to do, so I don't want to get too wordy or too lengthy. So I'm going to play it and kind of let you just hear what I'm working with, okay? So we're going to go here. Bang. Apple Watch is going off. Check this out. Really like the track. Now I can get into how I mix this in like another video, but as of right now, we're just gonna go ahead and roll with this. Yeah. So as you hear, not a ton of highs. That's the extent of my freestyle. I'm so sorry. It's horrible. All right. So that's the track. So to me, this track didn't need much. I mean, it's, you know, it's lo-fi. And really, what is lo-fi? No one knows. You can't really put it into words. It's more of a vibe. At least that's what I think. I think lo-fi is more of a vibe. And then there's a couple of secret sauce methods I use. We'll get to that in another video. So let's just get started right onto it. So first thing I like to do with this, I already hit it with some tape, but I like to go with another tape. The first insert I went here, it was the UAD. It was the Ampex tape, right? Why? Because I really like that one. I like the way it sounds. Now, I kept the noise on. I went in here. I opened the little joint here, and I kept the noise on, and I mean, for obvious reasons, right? And then, secondly, I went with 7.5, and I went with 1 because I do like the way that it does sound. So I'm going to play it without it first, and then I'm going to play the track with it. So check it out. Now I'm just going to turn it off. Now, if you're listening on some good monitors or some headphones, you're going to hear that big difference right there. Got a little livelier, right? Check it out. I'm going to take it off. Yeah, see? So I went with, so that I'm not speaking over the music here. So I went with these settings because I really like the way they sound. And you could play around with it and kind of get your own feel for it. But that's what I came up with just because I like the sound. I even went high. So if I play this again, I mess with this right here. And you're going to hear the difference. Listen to the highs, okay? Just listen to the highs. Hear that? Once again, I did not say this, but subtlety. When it comes to like mastering, you want to be subtle. Less is more. Little movements are huge. Okay? Because once you hit this with like a maximizer or some sort of limiter, it's going to bring out all of that. So don't worry about it. If you are pushing it too much to where it's audible, like obvious, you're doing too much. You want subtle movements. You want to be able to train your ears. And what I did to train my ears when I was younger is I would push it so I could hear it. Then I'd back off and then back off and back off. And then try not to mix with your eyes. I still kind of do that a little bit, but mix with your ears because your ears are your best friend when it comes to this. All right. Moving right along because I don't want this video to run over, but hey man, I want you guys to get the sauce. So, this is cool. This is a cool plugin. So this is the BX Digital. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just doing some subtractive EQing. And why? Because there was a problem frequency in the mid sides. So what do I mean by that? I was getting a lot of bass in my sides here. So I'm going to show you what it sounds like bypassed. So this is what it sounds like bypassed. All right. So that's what it sounds like. Now, once again, subtle. So I'm going to turn this guy on and I'm going to go to the mid side here and we're just going to solo that out. So this is what it sounds like with the bass in the sides. Hear that low end? Now what I did was just cut it out. Now that's clean. That's clean. And I don't want to take out much more. I went to this frequency here. It was like 1,000 hertz. It had a little whistling sound. I took it out by like 2 dB. Just because it was kind of getting on my nerves there. And then once we unsolo it. Now I didn't do much in mono just because I didn't feel like it needed anything. Once again, my trap and stuff. I mean, I take some things out, but here I didn't feel like anything needed to come out of it. So that's what I usually do. I usually go with like tape, and then I do some subtractive EQing after that. So my next plugin here is the UAD Shadow Hills. It's a great plugin. If you do not have this, I 100% say I recommend getting this, right? And I'm going to just do a quick breakdown of this plugin because if you don't know how to use this, this thing can look pretty confusing. So first thing to note, there's really only one side because whatever you do over here, you do over here unless you're in optical and discrete, which I am. So you're going to have your discrete section down from here, all right here. I put my side chain in. I don't know the specifics of what frequency it cuts at, but I do know that it sounds good. And then you got your optical up here, right? So what I like to do is I like to get just, like tickle the pickle, really. I like to get barely any kind of gain reduction because this plugin reminds me of a lot of the Acoustica stuff, and I'll get into that to where it's very sensitive, and if you over push it, you can destroy your track. You don't want to do that. And then this section right here is going to be your different sounds, your steel, your nickel, and your iron. I went with the middle one here. I like the iron. I just like the way that did sound on it. But yeah, so let's check it out. So that's without it. Let me turn this on. See how it's a little bit more controlled now? Everything just got tighter a little bit, so I'm gonna take it off. Now once again, it's subtle. I'm gonna put it back on. And look at here, not much at all. That's my discrete section over here, and this is my optical. And now what I did too is I'm not pushing this stuff hard at all. Like I'm coming in with a super slow attack on the discrete, the threshold very minimum. The recovery is like at a 2.5. I mean, we're talking minimal stuff here, guys. But in the grand scheme of things, that makes a huge difference. So if you're following me so far, go ahead and press that like button. Yeah, and I chose the iron just because of the sound. So once again, subtle, but check it out. Now, this was pre-done, but when I did it the first time, I closed my eyes and just listened with my ears. And I was listening on my monitors too, so it was a little different setting. But I tend to close my ears, dude. So one thing you want to do is when you're mixing, if you're mixing on monitors, find the sweet spot in your room or wherever you're mixing. You want to find the sweet spot because when sound waves come out, the speakers, they come out like this. It's a wave, and you want to be in that optimal bam right there. You want to be wherever that sweet spot is. You're going to have some slap back if your room's not treated and stuff. So you just want to find that sweet spot to where you think the music sounds the best and that you hear the best amount of frequencies and whatnot, right? All right, moving right along. So my next plugin is man, it's crazy. I usually do the massive passive, the Manly massive passive. I didn't use that for this because I didn't feel like it needed. It's lo-fi. I still wanted to keep some of the grungy and the grit of it. So this plugin here, one of my favorite plugins of all freaking time. This is by Acoustica. It's called the Diamond. Dude, this thing is, it's a monster. If you don't have this, I highly recommend this plugin over all of them that I just used. Yeah, I said that. Over all of them, because it sounds so good, right? And it is very responsive. Like I'm talking about like a decibel of movement, and you can hear a major difference, right? So check this out. Check this out. This is without it. I'm gonna start back here, and I'm gonna turn it on. Oh, beautiful. So it looked like it clipped. That's what it said here. But it didn't. Maybe it did. When it came on, it was too much. Yeah, it's clipping. Which is fine. So what we can do, we can back off on this output here. But what I did is, like, I'm going to show you just for like demo purposes here. So I'm going to show you like just the sensitivity of this thing. I'm going to go to the high mid frequency and listen to this thing, man. I mean, that's gorgeous, but I gotta mess with that. So I'm gonna back off. I like it about right there, and even the highs. Give it a little high. Right there, give it like a little bit of air. But what I did is I smashed the input just a tad to get that saturation. So I'm going to back off. I'm going to back off right now on that. And I'm going to come to the output here and come down. So check this out. Because you want it to still be controlled. Now, the thing is, there's a misconception of if it's louder, it's better. That's not always the case. That's some bull. Do not buy into that. Louder is not always better. So even though I made those changes and I turned it down, they're still there. They're still there. It's just like, once again, mastering. It's super subtle. That's what everything really. It's subtle movements. You know, you don't want to overdo anything because you just destroy your tracks and everything starts to sound process and it gets all weird, like a bad relationship or a bad friendship relationship. friendship, relationship. So yeah, you don't want things to get weird, man. And y'all know what I'm talking about out there. This is like that one girl. It's like one of those girls that you like a lot, and she's all of that because she has all the tools you want. But if you push her too hard, she gets weird. Moving right along. So my next plugin here, and once again, this is what I like about Studio One. You can switch from here to here. It's beautiful, but I like to do it right here just so you can see the process. So the next plugin here is Gullfoss, and I love Gullfoss. This is like a artificial EQ monster. And what it does, it gives this track some dynamic range. So it's even though this still sounds good, it makes it move. And what do I mean by that? So check it out. This is without it. And this is with it. So it's recovering some of that sonic character I was losing. Yeah. And I mean, I could do a whole video on these. As a matter of fact, if you guys want to see a video on how to use these plugins, the way I use them for like hip hop, trap, R&B, lo-fi, if y'all want to see that, let me know in the comments below, because I'll gladly run through it, because I could do a whole video just on this plugin. But I mean, just the basics. You got your recover, your tame, your bias, your brighten, and your boost. And that's really kind of pertaining to like the highs, and bright is kind of self-explanatory. The recovery, what it does with like the sonic character is beautiful. I love this plugin. Probably one of my best purchases of last year. I'm not even joking. I use this on a lot of things, mainly on like mix buses and things of that nature. So yeah, that's Gullfoss. So once again, this is without it. And this is with it. It's very subtle, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful, baby. Cool. So next section. So I'm done. I'm done pre-fader. I'm done. That's all I want to do. Depending on the track, I would do more. But once again, this is lo-fi, right? You want it to keep that lo-fi vibe. You don't want to make it sound like too modern. I don't want it to sound like Ariana Grande stuff. Even though she makes some good stuff, I don't want it to sound that clean. So next section, master. Master, all I really did, super simple, is, so let me explain this in PreSonus. So everything you do here in this section is pre-fader, and this is going to be your master. This is like overall dynamics. Now I could have put this multi-band compressor before that, but this is going to be like a mastering template for all my lo-fi. So once again, if I bring like another lo-fi track in here, it's going to sit right under here, but it's going to show up over here, and it's going to be like putting an album together or a mixtape. And you want it to have a cohesiveness of sound. So the master affects everything down here. If you just go to this section over here and you just tap that one, this affects just this. And then if there was another track, I'd tap that, and then this would have a totally different EQ chain or whatever. So that's the way that works, right? Hope you followed me on that. I think I explained that right. So master section, I just went with a multi-band compressor, and I didn't do a lot. Once again, I'll turn it on and you can see what it sounds like. So check it out. Now I'm gonna turn it on. Did you hear that low end? It got a little bit more controlled. Hope you're listening on some headphones. If not, it's all right. But yeah, I'm not getting any like much gain reduction at all. This is just controlling those peaks. Just controlling them shits. That's all I'm doing. And that's it. That's it. Multi-band compression. I'll get into another video about that if you do not know what that is. So this guy. Now, I put this post. Why? Because it's a limiter. Now, check this out. There's a lot of different limiters out there. Not all of them are good, and not all of them are bad. There are some that are okay. To me, this is one of the better ones. This is by Slate. It's the FGX. It is fantastic. I like it. It's musical. It does get a little bit artifacty, artifacty. I don't know. You can hear it a little bit when you start to press it. There's another one by Softtube, the Weiss one. I really like that one, but I'm not going to use that on this track. I have that too. Those are probably like my two main favorite limiters. And I mean, you always got your Waves 01, you know, it's pretty good too. But so what I'm going to do, I turn the compression section off, turn that right off. And then if you look here, once I activate this dither, look at this. So I'm going to bring this down. Right. Now keep a look at this section. Once I turn the plugin on, okay, I guess it's not going to do it because it hates me. So usually there is like waveform. You can see that. Let me make sure that I'm here in the right spot. All right. So check this out. I went and put my ceiling at 5 and I'm at 24-bit. Usually this is 16 and this is at 10. So I just kind of went here and we'll just say right there. And then my RMS, I like it to be anywhere from like 9.5 to, I don't know. I usually don't go into the 8s. That's when it starts to get weird on me, but check it out. So this is the track without it. And this is with it. Big difference, right? Now look, I can push this. We can push this, guys. So let's push it and see what it sounds like. So my RMS is at 9.6 right now. And that sounds good to me. Take it off. Oh yeah. So now you notice when I turn this back on, all that subtle movement that I did gets brought to the forefront. You can hear it now. All of those little things that you're like, I can barely hear, or it made a little bit of difference. It's not much. That's okay. Because now that's brought to the forefront, guys. So check it out. I'm gonna go here. Bring it up. So all of that stuff that I did now resurfaces and it sounds fantastic, right? So that's my chain. That's my chain on Lo-Fi. If you know any other way, maybe you do something different, let me know in the comments below. And also, if you want more videos on like just mixing and stuff, because I mean, I've been doing this for some years and I would like to think I'm pretty good at it. I mean, people pay me to do it. And they're always happy with their work, you know, and then sometimes you send it back and forth because they want vocals a little bit more upfront and things like that, depending on what they're going for. But for the most part, that's kind of how I just do my lo-fi. If you want the video on like trap, R&B, that kind of stuff, I can do that. And I'm not just talking about mastering. I can go into like mixing, because mixing is a totally different beast. I know there's a ton of videos on YouTube, but we all have our different styles. We all have our different ways of doing things, and this is just my thing. So yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. And if you like this video, share it to someone you like, 3 or 4 people you think maybe could benefit from this. That's on that lo-fi vibe. So I am TouchTone Da SoundGawd, guys. That's it. Peace.